Family. Welcome to the beginning of the 2021 school year, a year unlike any other. These unprecedented times call for unprecedented action, and this is our attempt, our virtual attempt at making you feel a little bit better about coming to school. So before we begin, it's always important to highlight our mission. And our mission here is to activate student dreams and opportunities through excellence in academics, altruism, arts, and athletics. Now, what we love about the word activate is a two-part verb, meaning to initiate and to see through. And we as a staff are very intentional about helping your students identify dreams, helping them be ready for opportunities that come as a result of their work here. And it's going to be truly a balance of these four areas. And we'll talk more with the students about what that is. And certainly there are challenges in taking care of this mission in normal operating conditions. And certainly in the times ahead, we'll continue to have difficulties and challenges. But this is our mission, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's going on in the world. This is what we're about. This is us at the core, and we stand ready to meet your student where they are and help them be prepared for their dreams and opportunities that come their way. So before we begin, I'd like to thank a lot of people, the school board, for allowing us to attempt this face-to-face instruction while considering the needs of all. I feel like our district has been very inclusive. I'd like to thank our district leadership for extensive planning. These folks have been working all summer to get us the tools that we need to open schools safely. I'd like to thank our teachers and staff for being willing to try new methods as we teach. And then, of course, parents, a lot of you have been communicating with us, very thoughtful questions, questions that have allowed us to respond ahead of time and take some action and adjust our protocol. And then also for students, for just being patient and for your endurance. This is a tough time. We as human beings weren't meant to be alone and operate in isolation, especially not you young people. We realize that, and we're certainly going to do all we can to get you back where you need to be. And that's in the classrooms, that's on the band practice field, on our athletic fields, in club meetings. And we're committed to doing that. I need you students to hear that we appreciate your patience, and we're certainly going to do all we can to make your high school experience what it ought to be. So we are operating under Plan B, and there are allowances for students to choose to learn all remotely. And regardless of whether you're learning remotely or whether you're going to be here for face-to-face instruction, we want that to be a seamless process. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. So for the first 2 weeks of school, A through D, you folks are coming on Monday. E to K is on Tuesday. L to Q is on Thursday. And R to Z, you guys will be on Friday. Once we get to August 31st, if we're allowed to progress to 50% capacity, then students A through K will be coming for 2 days, and then we'll have personalized learning on that Wednesday, and then we'll have L to Z on Thursday. Now, this Wednesday is going to be a time of planning and meeting with our teachers, but our teachers are going to also use this time to meet with students. It may be face-to-face, it may be Zoom, but we've really been given the blessing of this time to be able to cater to your student, and we'll use that time as well. I've been in communication with some people with transportation issues. Maybe all the kids in your household don't have the same last name and you need transportation worked out. If that continues to be the case, then please reach out to me at the school so that we can try our best to accommodate your transportation needs. So we are operating under Plan B with the option of students utilizing Plan C to learn remotely from home. All right, so a lot of protocol. I'm going to hit the highlights. Your students will be exposed to this as we come into the classroom. But these are our safety things. First of all, we're going to major the 3 elements of transmission control. That's masking, that's social distancing, and that's limiting the time that we're within 6 feet of each other, whether we're masked or not. We're also going to have some altered arrival and dismissal procedures, and students will be briefed on that, but it won't be the same coming in. Bus, instead of just coming in and having assigned seat, students will fill up the bus from the rear to the front, slide over to the window, one student per seat, unless we have siblings, and then that way we can maintain social distancing on the bus. It will be at a limited capacity as a result of this. All students will have the temperature check, and staff will have temperature check when they arrive on campus. Our staff will be out there with the temporal thermometers, take a quick scan, and then students will be allowed to come into the building. When they get into the building, we'll have altered traffic flows. Our main hallway will be a one-way circle, so that it just limits the amount of time that kids come by each other face to face. And of course, on hallways, we'll be really focusing on staying on the right side of those extension hallways, again, to reduce that face-to-face interaction. We'll also have a staggered lunch schedule, much like what you experienced in elementary school. Instead of us just ringing the bell and everybody going to lunch and mingling, classes will be assigned by certain times. We'll go by and pick up lunch and then come back to the room and be able to eat, socially distanced there. We do have a sick room and isolation room for students with COVID-like symptoms. So if you come in, you have a temperature, we're not just going to leave you sitting out on the curb until somebody can come pick you up. We have protocol, we have places that we can take students depending on your symptoms, and we can care for you, keep you comfortable but isolated from others until we can get you a ride here for home, or until we can do a follow-up and navigate these symptoms. We will also be doing a lot of reporting, tracking, and monitoring. We will monitor students with the symptoms. We'll track their classes and who they've been around, and we'll do a lot of reporting with our district. Just a lot of dialogue on exactly what's going on the ground here in terms of symptoms. Unfortunately for visitors, we'll have to reduce access during the school day. So we will not be having recruiters visiting campus. We'll not be having guest speakers. Parents, we're going to try to do as lot of business as we can at the front door without having you come in. Again, it's not an attempt to be unwelcoming. It's just to reduce the amount of tracking and reporting that we have to do with people coming in and out of school. And then finally, our district has been working diligently on getting equipment to clean and sanitize our building. We'll be doing that on Wednesdays, but also we'll be doing it during class changes at the end of the day. And again, just doing a lot of work behind the scenes to help keep the learning environment safe for your students. All right, so the three-pronged definition of exposure, and this is really critical. If I could highlight any slide, this is the most important. So when we have a student who has COVID symptoms or tests positive for COVID, for us in our tracking and our tracing, we have three prongs in which we approach the investigation or the tracing. First of all is a mask. Did students wear a mask? If all students are wearing masks, then where the chance of transmission is very low, and we do not have to consider any students exposed to that. 6 feet of distance, very important. If you were within 6 feet of the other students, then that counts as a non-exposure, and that's very good. And then finally, less than 15 minutes of interaction. Now this goes for whether you're masked or not. If you're within 6 feet of someone for more than 15 minutes, then that would count as exposure. So what we're going to monitor here at the school will be the students wearing masks. We're going to be really serious about that, just because the medical research shows if I have a mask, you have a mask, regardless which one of us has COVID or doesn't have COVID, the chance of transmission is extremely low. Same thing with 6 feet of distance. That definition is still there. and being able to maintain that 6 feet of distance consistently. Now there'll be times where we're closer or not, but with that mask, that helps that. And then our teachers are going to be very aware of making sure kids are not in proximity for more than 15 minutes. And here's the big thing about this protocol: regardless of your personal beliefs, your political beliefs, this protocol right here will allow us to stay in school. If we have a student who is identified positive with COVID, we don't have to send the whole school home. We can look right through these and say, was the student masked? Did the student maintain social distancing? And their teachers do a good job of keeping kids away from each other for extended periods of time. If we can answer those, and the chances of transmission are extremely low enough that we're able to keep going on with school. So this slide, we'll drill this into the kids. We'll preach this with staff. This is absolutely critical for us to be able to have school and get our kids back in classrooms, get them into extracurricular activities. It's just huge. So, in terms of instruction, here's some key elements. Our teachers are using Canvas. That's going to be the platform in all Lincoln County high schools, and we're all going to have a uniform landing page. So when you go into your Canvas, you know what to look for, you know what to expect. It's consistent, it's less confusing. All assignments are going to be, whether that's face-to-face or virtual, all assignments are going to be posted in Canvas, and you'll be able to get some feedback in Canvas on how you did on your assignments. But here's a very important: all grades will be posted in the Power School portal. The Canvas grades don't always sync appropriately with Power School, so Canvas is your place to get your formative feedback. Your summative grade will be in Power School, so you'll need to be able to access both of those as well. Our teachers are going to use a combination of synchronous, that means everybody together, and asynchronous, which is kind of your self-guiding, self-paced instruction. And they're going to clearly spell that out on their syllabus. And that syllabus will be found both in the Canvas course page and on teacher web pages. We will have Chromebooks available for all students. These Chromebooks have the online capability, but also offline. If you have connectivity issues at home, your student can work offline, and as soon as they come back to school, that will sync. Unfortunately, Chromebooks, due to high demand, are on a schedule which we don't know in terms of arrival, but we will be working with kids that are learning remotely first and trying to make sure that everybody has a device. But soon, all students will have the Chromebook device to use that will give them offline and online capabilities. All right, as I said earlier, Wednesdays are a very important time. That's when we'll be able to have planning, and we'll be able to give our students some individual attention. And then finally, our staff will be accessible like never before through the online tools. We'll be using the Canvas, the Google Meet, and really keeping up with online email and doing all we can to communicate with you in a variety of methods. All right, so next steps. So what do you need to do? First thing you need to do is attend an orientation for each class. These links are going up and going live at the conclusion of this orientation session. All teachers will have their own, either their video posted or a live session scheduled, and that will be prior to Thursday evening. So as of Thursday evening, every teacher is either going to have a video loaded or they're going to have a live orientation session set up. Our staff has also been working on some videos from a student perspective on the first day of arrival. What does it look like when you get out of your car, get off the bus, come through, get your temperature checked, go find your schedule? So we watch these videos, particularly for our students and parents, to get a comfort level of just what's it going to look like on day one. It'll answer a lot of questions of what's the building going to look like and how things are going to be on the first day of school. The next thing you'll need to do is to be able to ensure access to both the Canvas and Power School through your digital resources. Canvas, again, for accessing all your assignments. Power School for being able to keep up with your grade. We do ask that you communicate with the school regarding any needs and questions that you have. You guys have done a great job of this. Please continue to do that. Phone, email, messaging in Canvas. Any way that you can communicate with us will be great. We do ask you to mentally prepare for learning in a different manner. Learning is not going to be the same this year, and we need students to think of learning in a different way to help be more responsible for their own learning, just like they were this spring. But then to realize that we're moving both between a synchronous and asynchronous environment, and it's going to be very fluid. So prepare for that. And then finally, we ask that you face each day as an opportunity, and we ask that you face it with optimism, because we have been given the chance to help get our society back to normal. We're coming in here, we're meeting face to face, we're moving. Yes, we've got a lot of safety protocol in place, but at the elemental and fundamental level, we are here. We're together for the first time since March 13th. We have students in here learning on campus, and that's a huge step in our nation getting back to normal and our nation recovering. We have to do it responsibly, and we have to meet that with optimism, because this is truly an opportunity for us and do our part and help move society forwards. So finally, I'll leave you with the mission again. Regardless of what's going on around us, our mission is to activate student dreams and opportunities through excellence in these 4 areas. That's academics, altruism, which is giving back, arts, and athletics. Regardless of what's going on in the world around us, this is us at our core, and this is what we're going to do to help your kid be successful and help North Lincoln be the absolute best that it can be. So I do thank you for attending our virtual high school orientation. Certainly not the way we would prefer to open the year, but I do thank you for your attendance. And of course, as always, go Knights.